Welcome to this edition of ICANN Media. I'm, of course, your host, Rob Hislop. Joining us right now, the leader of the official opposition here in Alberta, Brian Jean, leader of the Wild Rose Party as well. I asked you, what's it like being in opposition right now? You're not sure just yet.
Well, I'm not sure. We haven't really started, but we are doing exactly what we were hired to do, and that is, of course, oppose the government and make sure that Albertans see other options available to them from the legislative side and from the policy side that the government is not providing to them. So that's what my job is, and that's what I'm going to do.
So we'll take you out of the legislature for a moment, looking at the oil and gas industry right now and the challenges facing it. What would you like to see happen?
Well, I'd like to see oil prices go up, obviously, and the dollar, frankly, stay down, and make sure that we have people that are able to work the oil sector and the gas sector and be able to export their product to Tidewater so we get world prices for our product. I think that would be the greatest thing. I would like to see our energy industry move forward and more jobs and more development and less regulation.
There are a lot of people out there that seem to be afraid that the New Democrats are now in power when it comes to the oil industry. Not saying everybody, but that there is that definite sector anyway that does seem to fear them a little bit. Do you think there's a reason to be afraid to have the New Democrats in power?
Well, I did meet both of those people that you're talking about that aren't afraid.
Fair enough.
Let's give her a chance. We haven't seen what she's going to do. We have seen some pretty scary things from some of her new staff members and some of her MLAs in relation to what they would like to do with the oil sector, so I am nervous. But I think once they recognize fully that the $45 billion, at least $20 billion of it, comes actually from the oil sector, oil and gas sector, and the other $20 billion actually comes from the taxpayers who work in the oil sector. So I'm hoping that she sees how important the oil and gas sector is to Albertans, and she supports that and supports the initiatives that they have. We have the safest, best oil and gas sector in the world. We do pipelines better, we do the environment better, we do human rights better, we do everything better than anybody else, and why would you not support that industry?
Well, and you almost have to, don't you? Because, I mean, as you mentioned, from a financial point of view, if they want to do a lot of the other things that they would like to see happen, you've got to have money coming in from somewhere.
Rob, my question is, why would you not? We do it better than anybody else in the world, yet we have to buy petroleum.
We have to buy oil. What are we going to do? Buy it from Libya, buy it from South America, buy it from the Middle East? Those people do not have human rights records. They don't do it right. They don't do it where they actually create value to the economy. This is the sector that brings the best quality of life in the world to us and allows us to export that quality of life to other places in the world, whether it be to Africa to bring food and water, or to the Middle East to make sure conflicts go away as fast as possible and to stick up for human rights right across the world. This is what gives us that opportunity. In Alberta, we are a light and a beacon, an example to the rest of Canada, and Canada is an example to the world. We live in the best place, the best province in the world, and the best country in the world. What could be better than this? And we need to protect our industry.
Right. What do you say to people, because there seems to be a concerted effort to try and damage the reputation of the oil sands, and we've talked to people in the past who have said there's some American groups that are definitely behind funding environmentalists and conservation groups and that sort of thing.
Absolutely.
What would you do to try and combat something like that?
Try to make the Americans and these environmental groups and these lobby groups stick to the United States. They have no right or no business in Canada. If Canadians want to oppose development in Canada or to, have their word heard in relation to oil and gas development, where they're anti or pro, then let's hear it from Canadians. But let's not have control vested in Americans or in the Middle East or in other countries for our destiny. This is Canada's product, this is Canada's land, this is Canada's people that work this, and this is Canada's great quality of life. Let's make the decisions here in Alberta for Canadians, by Canadians instead of somebody else.
Have you ever thought of a career in politics? Because it sounds like you've got it down pat.
Well, I'm not sure about down pat, but I will tell you, I'm very proud to be from Alberta. I'm very proud to be part of the oil sector and oil and gas industry. I'm very proud of that. And I say to you, if you're not proud of that in Alberta, then maybe you should find a different place to live. This is our economy, this is our way of life, and I'm very proud of that. And the world needs oil. And why not provide it from the best place in the world to provide it where we are the safest, where we have 50% of the free oil in the world. 50% of the free oil in the world. What could get better than that? We provide oil and a better quality of life to the world. And I think that's something to be envied, not something to be ashamed of. I'm very proud to be from Alberta. I'm very proud to be part of the oil and gas industry.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Brian.
My pleasure, Rob.
We've been chatting with Brian Jean, the leader of the opposition and the leader of the Wild Rose Party.